This channel, a systematic teaching, enables you to put an end to suffering and reincarnation. Please find the playlist of this series in the description. Mahayana Pure Land welcomes you. To Enlightenment 97. Amitabha's 48 Great Vows. The 46th, 47th, and 48th vows. We wish all suffering beings on earth to be free from tribulations and to obtain happiness. We also wish all sentient beings in all Dharma realms to be born into Sukhavati. When we bring forth this kind of bodhisattva, we can absolutely resonate with the Buddha realm. The ancients said, "When one thought resonates, the Buddha realm manifests in that one moment." While every thought resonates, the Buddha realm manifests within every thought. Today we are going to talk about the last three vows, the 46th, 47th, and 48th vows. We will then make a conclusion afterwards. Amitabha's 48 great vows, extremely important, are the core of the entire Infinite Life Sutra. They are also the essence of all Buddha's teachings. Now let's take a look at the text of these last three vows. Please join your palms and read together. When I become a Buddha, all bodhisattvas in other worlds, upon hearing my name, will attain the dharma of being free from the chain of birth and obtain dharanis. They will be pure, blissful, and dwell in the dharma of equality. In cultivating bodhisattva conduct, they will be replete with the roots of all virtues. If they are unable to instantly attain the first, second, and third stages of kṣānti, as well as realize the state of non-retrogression in all Buddha dharmas, I will not procure anuttara samyak sambodhi. 46th vow, all will attain dharani. 47th vow, upon hearing Amitabha's name, all will attain kṣānti. 48th vow, all will instantly realize the state of non-retrogression. Kṣānti is only a few steps away from consummate Buddhahood. Bodhisattvas in other worlds refer to bodhisattvas other than Sukhavati. They have at least eradicated the afflictions of view cognition, which denotes that they have transcended the three realms of desire, form, and formlessness. Some of them are working on eradicating the affliction of dust-sand. Some have eradicated the affliction of dust-sand, yet have not eradicated the delusion of avidya. Some have eradicated the delusion of avidya, yet have not attained anutpattika-dharma-kṣānti, a much higher realm. According to the Sutra for Benevolent Kings, the anutpattika-dharma-kṣānti refers to the bodhisattvas of the 7th, 8th, and 9th bhumi. These ranks are very lofty. The order of bodhisattvas' ranks in attainment is as follows: 10 stages of faith, 10 stages of abode, 10 stages of practice, 10 stages of dedication, and 10 stages of bhumi. The 7th, 8th, and 9th of the 10 bhumis belong to the rank of attaining anutpattika-dharma-kṣānti. Further up is the 10th stage of bhumi, the Dharma cloud. The 11th stage is virtually enlightened bodhisattva, and the top is wondrous enlightenment, the consummate Buddhahood. In other words, the bodhisattva who attains anutpattika-dharma-kṣānti is only a few steps away from the rank of consummate Buddhahood. Upon hearing Amitabha's name, all will receive benefits. The text of this vow indicates that the bodhisattvas of other worlds, as long as they hear Amitabha's name, can obtain dharanis, kṣānti, and the position of non-retrogression instantly, and they will be free from the chain of birth. Obtaining kṣānti refers to attaining anutpattika-dharma-kṣānti. Look, once being reborn into Sukhavati, we mortals can attain anutpattika-dharma-kṣānti. As for those bodhisattvas of other worlds who are not reborn yet, they can attain anutpattika-dharma-kṣānti merely by upon hearing the name as well. This is utterly attributed to Amitabha's blessing. As long as, upon hearing the name, all will obtain benefit. This sutra states, bestow the benefit of thusness upon all beings. This benefit of thusness is genuine to the extreme. There is no comparison with money, fame, prestige, gain, offerings, or any other joys of external stimulus. Those are not the genuine benefits. This benefit of thusness enables you to eradicate defilements, dispel avidya, and attain dharmakaya. The first type of birth and death, delimited samsara. The Infinite Life Sutra is the sutra entirely speaking of the merits of the name of Amitabha. Bodhisattvas can be considered as, upon hearing the name, and obtain the genuine benefits only when they are really clear about this sutra. After, upon hearing the name, the bodhisattvas will attain the dharma of departing the chain of birth, which refers to being free from birth and death. They have completed their learning and have graduated from the dharma method of departing birth-death. There are two types of birth and death. The first type is called delimited samsara. The second type is inconceivable samsara. Delimited samsara belongs to us mortals. Our lives are lived section by section. In this life, we typically live 70 to 80 years old, then we die. After death, we go on to transmigrate. Then the second section of our lives starts. This is called delimited samsara. The process of delimited samsara is very painful. Birth, aging, illness, and death are the agonies that no one can escape. In this wheel of samsara, we mortals have experienced infinite sufferings. There is no clue as to how many lives we have been through. The Buddha's lives as white dogs and the blood sweat of arhats. Shakyamuni Buddha mentioned that when he was still a mortal before practicing the bodhisattva way, he had been reincarnated as white dogs during the immeasurable kalpas in samsara. And the bones of these white dogs, if piled up, would be higher than Mount Sumeru. There are not many bones in a dog. How many lives do you have to be reincarnated as a dog so that their bones can be piled up as high as Mount Sumeru? Moreover, they are not various kinds of dogs, just one kind, white dog. The bones of the Buddha's numerous lives as only white dogs were higher than Mount Sumeru. Now think about it. How could it be possible for one samsara to be only white dogs? During the samsara, life after life, we have become everything. No matter what we were, the bones piled up will also be higher than Mount Sumeru. Can you imagine how horrific samsara is? Even Shakyamuni Buddha was like this, let alone us. We are no comparison to the Buddha. So samsara is extremely terrifying. Within samsara, our time spent in hells is much more than the time not spent in hells. There was an arhat who told his disciples, "You must cultivate conscientiously. If you do not cultivate conscientiously but engage in activities of samsara, you will inevitably fall into hell in the future." After listening, all the disciples, having not remembered the sufferings of hells, seemed not to be convinced. They suspected, is it that the Buddha wanted us to cultivate, so he spoke of hells to scare us? One day it rained heavily. This Shifu, who had attained arhathood, gathered his disciples and said, "Go to the forest, pile up the wood that was blown down by the wind and rain." Not knowing why Shifu wanted them to do so, the disciples were puzzled, yet obediently piled up the soaked wood in the forest together. Shifu said to them, "Come to ignite the fire and burn all this wood." How? This soaked wet wood? The disciples doubted the possibility but still followed Shifu's instruction. For a long time it did not even ignite a bit of fire. This Arhat Shifu told them, "I have a way to burn this wood into ashes instantly." How? The disciples were curious. The Shifu used his supernal power, took a kindling from hell, then put this kindling on the soaked wet wood, which thus burned to ashes in an instant. Everyone was stunned. The kindling of hell is different from the kindling of the human realm. The temperature and the heat of hell kindling has no comparison to the kind of kindling in the human realm. The Arhat Shifu said, "You must practice conscientiously. If not, you will be so very miserable when you fall into hell in the future." Think about it. Within the samsara, we must have been in various hells, and they definitely took most of the time in our samsara. As such, arhats think of the situation when they were in hells. Their bodies sweat blood, not cold sweat, but blood sweat. It is the sweat mixed with blood. Why? They had a lingering fear. If we do not transcend birth and death, there will be enough unimaginable suffering in the future lives. So we must firstly eradicate the delimited samsara. The second type of birth and death, inconceivable samsara. Arhats have eradicated the delimited samsara and transcended the 6 paths. They are in the Dharma realms of the 4 sages, namely Sravaka, Pratyeka, Bodhisattva, and Buddha. But they still have the inconceivable samsara because their heart still moves and they still give rise to thoughts. With thoughts arising and ceasing, they will have transmutation and have not yet become completely at ease. When you transcend the 10 Dharma realms and enter one true Dharma realm, your heart no longer moves and you will not give rise to thoughts. You have attained the consummate great ease because you no longer have inconceivable samsara. The bodhisattvas of other worlds, upon hearing the name of Amitabha, can free themselves from 2 types of birth and death, delimited samsara and inconceivable samsara. They have instantly attained the stage of Dharmakaya Mahasattva, attained great ease, and entered one true Dharma realm. How phenomenal the merit of hearing Amitabha's name is! Thanks everyone for learning with us. Name of Amitabha!